Hi everyone, today we're going to be comparing two soundbars from Sony. First we have the HT-S350 as well as the HT-X8500. The $199 Sony HT-S350 is an entry-level 2.1 channel soundbar with a powerful standalone wireless subwoofer. Whereas the $299 Sony HT-X8500 features an all-in-one design that delivers truly impressive surround sound through Dolby Atmos and DTS:X integration. Now, both of these soundbars deliver truly impressive sound, but do so in different ways. Therefore, each soundbar has its unique purpose and best use case. In this video, I'll be comparing everything from design to features, as well as an in-depth sound quality review and sound tests, all to help you decide which is the right soundbar for you. Now, to keep things simple, from here on I'll be referring to the Sony HT-S350 as the S350 and the Sony HT-X8500 as the X8500. First things first, let's compare design and build quality. In terms of the soundbars, you can see both the S350 and the X8500 are similar in size. The S350 is just a bit longer and taller compared to the X8500. This difference is minimal, and you can see both soundbars pair well with my 43-inch TV and will look even better with larger TVs. I'm also pleased to say that both soundbars manage to sit below my TV screen. Great if you don't have a wall-mounted TV. Looking at the soundbars side by side, you can see they have quite a lot in common, with some minor differences. On top, both feature this faux leather finish, which looks quite sharp. I especially like this matte texture, as unlike glass or plastic which you may find on other soundbars, this texture will not show TV reflections or fingerprints. Along the front, covering the drivers, both soundbars have a matte black metal grille. One of the differences in design is this nice dark gray accent seen on the X8500. This adds a nice touch and makes the soundbar look a bit more premium. On the other hand, on the S350, the front grille does not fold over top of the soundbar like it does on the X8500, which I personally prefer. Another difference are the bass ports found on either side of the X8500 as part of its built-in subwoofer, whereas on the S350 there is one large bass port on the standalone subwoofer. And this really highlights the biggest difference between the two. The X8500 features an all-in-one design, meaning that all the drivers are in this single unit, whereas the S350 has a soundbar as well as a standalone wireless subwoofer, which gets really loud, but more on that later. Having that wireless subwoofer though does mean that the S350 is a significantly bigger setup. If you are limited on space, the X8500 offers a far more portable solution. Both soundbars feel equally solid and well built. While the X8500 looks slightly more high-end, the design of both is quite subdued, which also means that both will partner seamlessly with most TV setups. Taking a look at the speakers on the S350, you can see we have the left and right channels. These will handle the high to mid frequencies. And on the subwoofer, we have one large driver to handle the low frequencies. Looking at the all-in-one design of the X8500, it features the left and right channels, as well as in the middle two drivers for the built-in subwoofer. On top, both soundbars feature touch-sensitive controls. In my testing, I found these to be reliable and easy to operate. Unfortunately, neither the S350 or the X8500 has a display, something I would have liked to see at least on the X8500 given the price, as this would make changing finer audio settings more user-friendly. Both do have a row of LEDs to indicate power and connected source. In terms of connectivity, the S350 features one optical output as well as one HDMI ARC output, no optical or HDMI inputs. The X8500 features a slightly more impressive port selection with an optical output as well as one HDMI eARC output for Dolby Atmos and DTS:X, as well as one HDMI input. This allows the X8500 to function as a hub between your TV and other connected devices. Having that extra HDMI port also means you don't lose an HDMI port on your TV for using the soundbar. Both soundbars are equipped with Bluetooth 5.0, allowing you to connect your smartphone and stream music and essentially use them as Bluetooth speakers. Setup could not be easier. This is simply a matter of plug and play. Also worth noting that on the S350, the wireless subwoofer connects automatically. The X8500 does have an external power brick, which you will not find on the S350. Also, make sure you have a spare HDMI cable, as in the box both soundbars only come with an optical cable included. If you are looking to wall mount, both soundbars are capable of this, and each contain a paper template for this in the box. Now, before I go further onto the sound and features, I want to give you an idea of how these soundbars perform through a quick audio test.
We're going on the internet. We're going on the internet.
This brings us to sound and features. While both the S350 as well as the X8500 are quite neutral in sound, when comparing the two through the sound test, they do sound quite different and each have their own strengths. When it comes to high and mid-level frequencies, these are definitely more present on the X8500, whereas on the S350 I found myself wishing for just a bit more. Additionally, the sound on the X8500 shows better clarity, where on the S350 the mid to high frequencies can become a bit muddled. To demonstrate this, I have a clip from an open world style game. To compare the two soundbars, I encourage you to listen out for the atmospheric sounds of nature, such as the grass, birds, and footsteps. Having tested both of these soundbars for several weeks, I've come to identify the biggest strengths of each. On the S350, its biggest strength lies in the low-end performance. That separate wireless subwoofer delivers powerful and deep, punchy bass. This really shows when watching intense action scenes or when listening to music, really making the sound pop. In addition to this, the quality of the bass remains, even at high listening volumes. The low-end performance found on the S350 is simply unmatched for its price. On the other hand, the X8500's built-in subwoofer still performs surprisingly well considering this is built in. The bass is clean and solid and can fill a small to medium-sized room, as long as you do not listen at high volumes. To demonstrate this, I'll play a brief audio comparison from a movie scene that has music and quite a lot of bass. Let's have a listen. And this brings us to the biggest strength of the X8500, and that is surround sound. The X8500 sets itself apart from other soundbars in its price range by having integrated Dolby Atmos and DTS:X, creating an impressive surround sound experience, simulating a full 7.1.2 surround sound system, all from a self-contained unit. While it does not replace a proper surround sound system, this does come a long way and makes a significant difference to the listening experience. There is a strong sense of immersion that comes from a very wide soundstage and true surround sound experience, especially in the horizontal axes. This is especially great when watching movies and TV shows, really placing you in the action. Not to mention when gaming, being able to hear your surroundings. All in all, I was really impressed by how well the surround sound works on the X8500. When it comes to surround sound on the S350, like the X8500, it does feature Sony's S-Force Pro virtual surround sound technology. It does, however, lack Dolby Atmos and DTS:X, and when it comes to surround sound, this shows. With the S350, the soundstage is smaller and lacks that sense of immersion that you get with the X8500. Surround sound is difficult to portray in an audio test, but believe me, the difference is significant. What I can do is play a clip from a game that has lots of different sounds and elements going on at once coming from different directions, and notice how clear these remain on the X8500. How do these soundbars perform at higher volumes? Well, the S350 performs very well in this area. With the help of its subwoofer, there is no distortion at high listening volumes. The sound remains balanced and clear. This makes the S350 a great option if you plan to listen to music at higher volumes or filling large spaces for hosting, for example, a party. The X8500 performs well at low to medium listening volumes. However, when turning the volume above 65%, I noticed the bass lessen. there is no distortion, but the volume of the subwoofer decreases and struggles to keep up with the other drivers. Now, to put this in perspective, in my small to medium sized room, I typically listen at around 30%, so still far from 65%. But this is still something to consider and bear in mind if you plan to listen at high volumes. To compare this, I'll replay the same clip from before when comparing the bass. Only this time, both soundbars will be playing at 70% volume to make the neighbors happy. Notice how the bass remains present on the S350, while on the X8500 it falls behind the highs and mids. Taking a look at both remotes, you can see these are very similar and offer a wide selection of sound presets to choose from. These are identical and perform the same way across both soundbars. I cover these sound presets in more detail in my full reviews of each soundbar. For now, the ones I find myself using the most are Auto, Music, Voice, and Night Mode. Night mode is particularly useful for having clear sound when listening at lower volumes, maintaining clarity in vocals while also lowering the mids and lows to minimize disturbance. These sound profiles are useful to have, allowing you to adjust the sound in a simple way. In terms of finer sound adjusting, both soundbars do not offer much in this area. That said, the bass can be adjusted on both soundbars using the bass button on the remote. The S350 has 12 intervals to cycle through, while the X8500 only has 3. I would have liked to see more to adjust the bass more finely. Both soundbars do not offer any treble or EQ adjusting. That said, again, having ample sound presets does make it easy for anyone to quickly adjust and find the sound they want. At the end of the day, both the S350 and the X8500 have their own unique strengths and therefore each have different purposes. The S350 comes in at a lower price point, making it more accessible. With its 320 watts, it packs some serious sound, not to mention that house shaking bass that you simply won't find anywhere else at this price point. Then there's the X8500. With its slightly higher price and more portable form factor, the sound quality overall is excellent. Sound is clear, and having Dolby Atmos and DTS:X truly brings the cinema surround sound experience to the home. I hope that can help you out with your buying decision. Whichever you choose, both of these soundbars will be a substantial upgrade to your TV's audio. Which one would I choose? Well, personally, as someone who is conscious of space and values level of immersion, I would go for the X8500 between the two. As always, links to both of these soundbars can be found in the description. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, be sure to leave them down below. And I'll see you in the next video.